Welcome back to Gold Derby. I'm Christopher Rosen. I'm so pleased to be joined by Mark Eydelshteyn, the breakout Russian actor whose first English language film is Sean Baker's amazing movie Anora. Mark, I love this movie so much. I know I've read a bunch of interviews you've done, and I know one of the talking points has been that when you did your audition, you did it in the nude and you sent in the tape. And I was like, I didn't want to ask you totally about that, but I was like, how many versions of that did you decide? Like, what was the final version that you sent in to Sean, I guess, in terms of that?
The
Like,
final version was the first version of it. I had
okay,
just only one take.
okay,
It was very risky and very scary, and I was very nervous when I did it. And because with I smoked cigarette, I smoked cigarette just to. It's not because I'm smoker, I just smoked cigarette to have, to win the time to, remember the lines. When I did the path, I thought, okay, and now I have to say, yeah, I know, and saying this. Yes, because it was only one take, and I sent, to Shanji's first take. Yeah, and I just prayed God that Sean would like it. Yeah.
and then he obviously did. I wanted to ask you, but the Vanya, I think, is just a really wonderful character, and I think the way you play him is so great. I was watching like you in the Cannes Film Festival where this film premiered, really great, won the Palme d'Or, fantastic. The moderator at that press conference was like, she called Vanya a really bad guy, and I was watching the movie. I've seen it twice. I'm like, I don't think he actually is because I think he's obviously very selfish, but I think you play him in a way that you bring out a lot of maybe empathy towards him or whatever. And I guess like kind of how did you land on like how he was? Because I think there's a version of this where he is a full villain, maybe, but I think the way you play him, you could really understand where he's coming from.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for this question. When we started discuss with Sean this character, when we started to build him, we already realized that it's antagonist. And it's an interesting thing in the Sean Baker script of Anora, that in the very beginning the movie we think that this Ivan it will be the prince of Anora, and this Igor it will be a bad guy. Yeah, because of violence, because of this amazing sequence with a fight. Yes, but in the end, not in the end, already in the middle, it's vice versa. Yeah, and it's a play of Sean Baker, and because of his amazing writers, amazing script writer. Yeah, and we understood that it's antagonist, and it was a big challenge for me to play antagonist because it's the first time when I'm playing such a character, and it's very difficult because you have to build this contact with the audience, and we had the first act for it. Yes, but we understood the journey of him. Yes, because we discuss his pain, we discuss his dreams, we discuss why he will act like this in the end, and that the first act is a compensation because he's very lonely, and it's a deep pain inside him. Yes, because his family is very powerful and he not belong himself like Annie, for example. Yes, in this way they are same. And on these 2 points, pain and dream, we build this antagonist, honestly. Yeah, and because of it, in the first act, he's full of fun, full of celebrating life, only because of it, only because of his pain and compensation.
You mentioned like I think that's really true, and I was thinking of the scene when where Vanya asks Annie to marry him right after when they're in Las Vegas, and I found that like that scene is really I found it like really moving almost because I think you're right, like you could see like I actually believe him in that moment because I think he like really wants this even though like you said like he's not like maybe not able to have that, but like seeing like that what's possible, I guess. I don't know, like how did you kind of I just think that scene is really great in general. And I guess like yeah, how did you talk about that with Sean and then also Mikey obviously as well to like really land that emotional a moment, I guess.
So, what differences between, for example, me and Ivan? Like Mark, as I read the Sean script, I already know that what will happen in the end of the movie. But Ivan, in that scene, hadn't know about it, and because of it, he's living, right now, and he loved her right now, and he wanna be with her right now. And he's not thinking that they will, land in America and these guys will try to divorce and annul the license. Yeah, and because we played it just with an open heart, and it's a guy. I had to say that it's a not bad guy. It's just very complicated world, and because we played the scene and we made the decision with the Sean that we will play the scene with an open heart. Yes, like he really, will be here forever with her forever.
And
Yeah.
what was it like for you? I mean, obviously, like you have some like you have to really, I guess the audience really has to believe this relationship between Annie and Ivan. And I guess like you work so well with Mikey, who is just really a force, I think, in the film, obviously. But I guess like how was it like kind of building that relationship with her? Maybe like building your collaboration, I guess, off screen to make sure it works so well on screen.
Uh, I just mm, in the first act, we have to, fall in love with Anora. Ivan had to fall in love with Anora, and it was a big question why. Because it's very important. Anora with Vanya, not only because of money, she really likes spend time with this guy. Yes, and we had to find this key to, Ivan had to find this key to Anora's heart. And me, like a new person in Mikey's life from another culture with another different, culture code, with another, I don't know, background and maybe sense of humor. Yes, I had to find, this key to her like a partner, and I understood that it's really a vibe. Yes, I have to make Mikey laugh, and Ivan has to make Anora laugh, and Mikey like a person on the set, and Anora like love of Ivan has to feel safety and funny with him, and it was a key for this chemistry, and Mikey and Nora, they are together. They were really open because it's a very kind persons. Yeah, and I think it's a point.
Yeah, I love your stuff with her is obviously so good. I found the performance is very physical as well. Obviously, I think like I was think when I watched you in the film, I'm like you play Vanya as I've seen like videos of like a baby deer like trying to like walking for the first time is very unsure, right? And I feel like a lot of times in this film, like Vanya is like that in his body, right? Like the way you flip over in the bed or even running out of the house, right? Like, and it's just a very physical performance, and I think really I found that really interesting. I guess like can you talk about like making playing it so physically, I guess, and like how like you kind of made it almost like he's almost uncomfortable in his own body, I guess. I don't know. I just found that like really interesting, I
Yeah,
guess.
it's a amazing question. It's one of the thing that we built with the Sean and find with the Sean, because so we have lots of the sex shots, and we thought a
Mhm.
lot how to do it, not like in the, I don't know, how to do it with a bright inside the shots, how to do it fun, and how to do Ivan, not like evil, just some unique, strange, weird guy. And we understood that it's a kid. It's just a kid in this big castle, in this big mansion, small person, like and because of this base of base of child without any responsibility. We started to build it, and because of it, the body, it's a body of the kid. It's a action of the kid, this backflip, this slide on the floor. It's how kids in, I don't know, 10 years old can behave themselves.
Yeah, it's really it comes across so well. I think it's like really great, and I the way you kind of play him is just so great. The other thing you do that I was just got a kick out of was a lot of video games you have to play in this film. So like very aggressively playing video games. I guess was that are you a gamer in real life, or like did you have any interest in that before this
It's
film?
interesting. It's interesting because now I sometimes I receive a message from audience of Anora that, "Hi, no, Mark, why you are playing in video games like this? It's a shooter. Why you are pushing all the buttons all the time? It's a fake. You are not playing really." And it's a part of true because so I'm not a video gamer really. I don't into video games. But my brother, my young brother, his name is Matthew, really into this. And when I asked him to play, I started to push all the buttons like this. Tuk, 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 tuk. Yes, and Matthew every time is saying me, "No, Mark, you don't have to do this. You have to, attentively, push right buttons. It's very important. It's a science. It's not like a game. You have to be serious in this." Yeah, and because with in the movie, I thought it will be funny if I will push all the buttons, and my brother will, laugh. It was for this.
That's really funny. Also, again, I feel like it's very, I feel like it's great for the character because I think again, like we're saying, like he's so like impetuous and just like kind of like not
Yes,
really detail oriented, I don't believe. So I think it
yeah.
really works very well for the character as well.
Yeah, it works. It works in the character. Yeah, and I'm very grateful for my brother on that because it's one of the things that it's a feature of Ivan. He's not like, and now I will, make a strategy of game. No, without strategy, just right now and everything. Yeah, like
The
that.
other thing I want to ask, again, not to like ask you all these specific things, but I found like I've seen a lot of movies playing drunk seems very difficult, I would say, right? Like or like playing like so like almost blackout drunk, like you have to do at the end of the film and having it be believable. Again, like I'm like that's not necessarily easy because I think people understand like how their bodies would respond when they're really drunk if they've been drunk before. So I guess like for you, what was something like how did you make that feel like how did you do that so well, I guess, in terms of like playing it and like not overplaying it, I guess, like in the film.
Uh, it's also a very interesting question, and thank you. So. It's really difficult really to play drunk or I don't know passed out person when you have no goal. So when you're just drunk and when you have no task. But we talked with Sean and we realized that in this second part of the movie, when he passed out, when he's drunk and intoxicated, he has the goal. It's not just because he's celebrating his life. No, it's already not the Ivan in the first act. It's a guy who trying to avoid Anora because he don't ready to this dialogue and because he's embarrassed and because he don't know what he will say and it was a task of his intoxication and then we discussed with Sean it's an alcohol and some drugs and what is it and then we tried to do everything to just avoid this dialogue with Anora.
Hmm.
Yeah, and I tried to be, in this condition the whole shooting day. And it was really interesting because, before the take and after the take, before the action and after the action, I was in this condition to be most, I don't know how to say it, to be, deep in it. Yeah.
That's really interesting. Yeah, no, I mean it comes across like really, really well. You meant like you were talking so much about Sean. I guess like I think like if you've seen like I guess like hey like what had you seen before like being like what movies of his had you seen or were you familiar with him like beyond like knowing Sean Baker, but like were you familiar with his movies before this, I guess?
Honestly, when Yura suggested me and then when Sean approved me, I haven't seen his movies. And I had this time before I was on the set and after he approved me to the character to watch it. But everybody, and Yura and my friends said to me that Sean is genius. And it's amazing, a huge director, one of the most beautiful independent directors ever. And I made a decision that no, I will not watch his movies. Because if I will watch it, I will, it will be more scary for me to communicate with him. Yes, because of it, I watched every his movie, and my favorite is A Prince of Broadway, and he's really huge and really one of the most incredible directors I ever worked and watched. Yes, but it was only after our shooting process.
That's so cool. Did you get like a better, I mean, having worked, I guess like having worked with him then and then watching the movies, did you get like, were you able to watch the movies and be like, oh, like I see like how he got these kind of, because I think he's really known for getting like these really incredible performances. Obviously, he uses so many real people as well as actors, right? And like kind of like the way he blends that. And yeah, just I think his movies are so like powerful. So I guess like, did you get like a newfound sense, like, or were you able to be like, oh, because I did this, I know kind of like how this happened or how this works?
Yeah, yes, exactly. And one more thing that I want to say that all performances in Sean's movies are amazing. Susie in Red Rocket and Simon Rex and everybody in The Prince of Broadway and the Florida Project. And I thought that if these performances are amazing, so it means that Sean worked with the actors in some special way, and I will watch it, and then it will be like my reference. I will be, like subconsciously wanted to repeated. Yes, and I understood that no, 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 it's not the right way. I have to, bring something fresh in his universe.
You do so
Yeah.
many cool, yeah, you do so many cool things too in the film. Like I was think like it just feels like a very it's an unpredictable performance, I guess. Like I'm thinking of when Ivan and Annie are like making their pact and you kind of do like a right with the handshake. Man, I love that so much. And I guess like was that like stuff like that? Was that something that you was that like written or is that something that you're kind of like feeling in the moment, I guess?
Uh, it's a kind of improvisation, and it's a part of boning of the character, and because we had lots of room and space to improvise. Again, because of Sean, he gave it to us. Yes, just to discover the character, because every day we discovered new, parts of the characters, and especially in that scene, it's a very romantic scene. Like the first part of the movie, the originally, romantic comedy. Yeah, and but we didn't have a, goal to do romantic comedy, and because of it, I had a goal to break this romantic comedy. So it's like a postmodern romantic comedy. And this romantic comedy scene, it's a very, like poetry. And I just had a goal to, break it. And because of it, I did.
That's really great. We
Yeah.
have to have there Mark Eydelshteyn, who stars in Sean Baker's Anora. It's a great film, fantastic performance. Mark, thank you so much for speaking with me. It was really nice.